Friends, in just a few moments, we will begin the service. Mr. Efraim Moscowitz, Efraim, the Mayor Shimon. On behalf of the family, I want to thank everybody for joining us here, and those who are joining on the live stream. Just as a gentle reminder, if anybody does have a cell phone, please take a moment to turn it on silent. Officiating our service today is Rabbi Baruch Epstein.
For millennia, the Rabbanim have stood before assemblies such as this and attempted to capture a person's life, and inevitably they've always failed. For how can a person's life be captured in a few words? What greater tribute can there be than to be surrounded by a family and a community who you built? And so we begin with a request for Mechila. Was there ever a time when we did not show proper kavod, proper patience, tolerance, respect for a man who built such a beautiful family that in turn built such a beautiful community? And so we ask for, and we are confident, that Rebbe Efraim offers his forgiveness to us. Rebbe Efraim, has there ever been a simpler term that has captured so much? As Yidden, we look for some message, some inspiration. We're in the month of Adar. Has there ever been a more joyous person than Rebbe Efraim? LaYehudim haisa oida v'simcha. Has there ever been a person who has lit up a room like Rebbe Efraim? Just last week, we commemorated the yahrzeit of his son, Rabbi Daniel Yitzchak of blessed memory, of his mentor, Rabbi Herschel Schusterman of blessed memory. This week, Chassidim will commemorate Tes Adar, the 9th day of the Hebrew month of Adar, which is the anniversary of the arrival of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, to the United States, who then dispatched shluchim in the smallest beginning days. And Rebbe Efraim had the schus of learning in the Frierdiker Rebbe's yeshiva, of having yechidus with the Frierdiker Rebbe, and then becoming, in a sense, a shliach himself and building this Chabad community and the larger Jewish community, the Torah-observant community of Chicago. And of course, he went on to build a family that continues to bring the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe's message to the entire community, and by extension around the world. His children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and now the blessing of a great-great-grandchild who continue on in his way. Efraim was known for reminding everyone to speak louder. Perhaps today, that means not just to increase the volume, but to speak louder, meaning to do more, to increase, to do more efforts in transforming the world, to raise our voice and thus to raise up the world. Today we mourn a chassid of the Frierdiker Rebbe and of the Rebbe, a husband of Tzivia of blessed memory for more than 70 years, a father to 4 sons and daughters-in-law, a grandfather to so many, a great-grandfather, and again this year, the blessing of being a great-great-grandfather, a friend, a mentor, and truly an elder of the community. A man whose life was one of honesty and integrity, ever grateful for the abundant nachas and brachas which Hashem gave him. When there are no words, we turn instead to the words of David HaMelech, the sweet singer of Israel. And again, what an honor to have a community and a family that loves you so dearly. So we ask you to follow along in both the handouts and in the booklets, as we will call up just a small representation of the many who beloved and honor Rebbe Efraim, beginning with his grandson, Rabbi Yosef Moscowitz, Executive Director of Lubavitch Chabad of Illinois, from Chabad of Bucktown, who will read from the printed handout Rebbe Efraim's personal kapitel, chapter Tzadik Dalet.
El nekamet Adonai, el nekamet Zefia. Hinatzi shevet haaretz hayeshev gmol hageyim. Admasai reshayim Adonai, admasai reshayim eloizu. Yabiu yidabru asak yisamru kol pele yaven. Am chadonai yidak uvenachalas chayanu. Almana v'keraygo v'yisayim yiratzechu. V'yemru lo yiraya lo yaven alei Yaakov. Binu Bairim Bam Uxilum Masai Taskilo. Hanaita Ezen Hala Yishma Im Yetzer Ayin Hala Yabit. Hayetzer Gayim Hala Yichiach Hamalamid Adam Das. Adinai Yedea Machshavet Adam Ki Hema Havel. Asher Agaver Asher Tiyasrenu Ya Umtiras Selamdenu. Lahashkit Lemi Meira Adi Karela Rasha Shachas. Ki La Yitesh Adinai Amei Venachalasei La Yazev. Yatzadik Yashul Mishpat Vachrav Kol Yisraelev. Min Yakum Lim Reim Mis Yatziv Lim Perle Yaven. Lule Adinai Ezrasali Kimat Shachna Domonafshi. Im Amarti Mataragli Chasdecha Adinai Yisadeni. Berev Sarapai Bikirbi Tanchumecha Shashu Nafshi. Hayacharv Kisei Haves Yetzer Amel Alichek. Yagaidu Al Nefesh Tzadik V'dam Naki Yashiu. Vayi Adinai Li Leminska V'lei Litzor Machzi. Vayashav Aleim Es Einam V'rasam Yatzmisem Adinai Eloheinu.
Call upon Rabbi Shmuel Nutik, director of Free of Illinois and the Rav of the Russian community in Illinois, to turn to your booklets on page 9 for chapter Tezayin, capital 16.
Michtam le David, Shamreini El, Kichasisi Vach. Amart Ladinoi, Adinoi Oto, Tevosi Bal Olecham. Ligdeish Masha Ba'aretz Heimo, Va'adire Kol Chefti Vam. Hierba Tzveisa Macher Mahoro, Balasich Neskehe Midom, Uval Esets Shmeisem als Fosoi. Adonai Menos Chalke Vechesi, Ato Temich Geroli. Chavolim Nofuli, Ban Imim, Afnachalos Shofer Oloi. Avorchas Adonai Asher Yeotzoni, Afleiles Yisruni Chil Yesoim. Shivisi Adonai Lenagdi Somit, Kimimini Bal Emet. Lochen Samach Libi, Vayago Kvedi, Afsori Yishken Lovetach. Kilisaziv Nafshi Lishel, Lesitin Chasid Chol Liris Shochas. Tedeini Erachayim, Sevas Moches Espanecho, Neimes Bimincho Netzach.
Rabbi Harav Yeshua Eichenstein, married the Asra of the congregation at Teres Yeshua and close friend of Rabbi Efraim, to read Kapitel Chaf Gimel on page 10 in the booklets. Chaf Gimel.
Mizmor David, Adonai Rohi lo yachsor b'noi steshe yabritzeni. Amei menuchis in aleini, nafshi yishoivev yancheni b'magli tzedek l'man shemoi. Gam ki eilech b'geit samoves lo yivero ki ato imodi. שבטכו משענתכו המו ינחמוני. תארך לפוני שולחנך צוררוי, דשנתו והשמן ראשי כויסי בבויום. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, וישבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
Rabbi Levi Nutik, Rav of Free in Chicago, Kapitel Tzadik.
Tfila l'meisha isha alihim, Adonai moin ata yisalonu b'der v'der. B'terem harim yuladu, v'atechil eretz v'sevel, u'me'elam ad elam ata el. Toshe v'nei shadadaka, v'atemer shuvu v'nei Adam. Ki elef shanim b'einecha, ki im esmel, ki yaver, v'ashmura v'alayla. Zram tam sheina yiyu, ba'beker kechatzir yachleif. Ba'beker yatzitz v'chalof, l'erev yimel v'yavesh. Ki cholinu v'apecha, u'v'chamascha nivhonu. Shato avineseinu l'negdecha, alumeinu l'mer panecha. Ki chol yameinu panu evrasecha, ki linu shaneinu k'mei hege. Yemei shneseinu v'hem shivim shana, v'im bigvurei shmeinim shana, v'rachbam amol v'oven, ki gaz chish v'na'ufa. Mi yedeya izapecha, u'chirascha evrasecha. Limneis yameinu ken heida v'novi levav chachmo. Shuva Adonai ad masai v'hinochem al avodecha. Sabeinu v'beker chazdecha u'niranen v'nismecha b'chol yameinu. Samcheinu ki meisi nisanu shnei Yisrainu ra'a. Yira'e el avodecha pa'olecha v'adorcha al b'neihem. V'hine yam Adonai Eloheinu aleinu u'ma'aseh yadeinu keinena aleinu u'ma'aseh yadeinu keinenehu.
Rabbi Yosef Posner, Rav and Shliach and Chabad of Skokie, also the president of the Chicago Rabbinical Council, to read Kapitel Tzadik Aleph, 91, on page 13 in the book.
Yeshiv es Israel yein Petzel Shada Yisleiman. Omer Adonai Machsi U'Mitzadasi Elahai Eftach Vayin. Ki hu yitzilch mi pach Yakush mi tever havais. Bevras Yosach Lach v'sachas knafef techasa zina v'zechera amitoin. V'siri mi pachad loyla me cheitz yov yoimam. Mi dever ba'ifel yahalech mi ketef yoshut zaharayim. Yipel mitzitcha elef u'revava miminecha elecha le'igash. Rak beinecha sabit u'shilum esrashayim tiram. Kiat Adonai Machsi Elyon Samtam beinecha. Le'su'una elecha ra v'negel la'ikraf ba'alecha. Kimalach v'yisavalach l'shmarcha b'chol d'rachecha. Al kapayim yusa uncha pentigef ba'even reglecha. Al shachal v'fasen tidreich timis kfir v'sanim. Kivi Chashak Vafaltayu, Asakveyu Kiyada Shemin. Ukraini Nayu, Imenahu, Vasara, Achalseo Vachabadeyu. Erich Yom Asbiyeyu, Vareyu, Bishu Azing.
Call upon Rabbi Yitzchak Wolf, the Dean of Cheder Lubavitch, to read Kapitel Aleph. It's found on the printed papers. Kapitel Aleph, Rabbi Wolf.
אשרי האיש אשר לא יהלך בצעד כשם, ובדרך התום לא יעמד, ובמי שבלצים לא ישב. כי מסרס אדינוי חפצה, וסרס יגע ימים ולילה. והיה כשע סולב הלגמויים, אשר פריה ייתם ויתבלל לא ייבל, וכל אשר יעשה יצליח. לא יכן הרשעים כי אם קמץ אשר תדפן רוח. על כן לא יקום הרשעים במשפט וחטאים בדעת צדיקים. כי ידע אדינוי דרך צדיקים ודרך רשעים טובת.
Unaccustomed as we are as having people to speak, we will call upon his son, Reb Efraim Moscowitz, to share some words.
There's two kinds of dreamers. People say, I love to do this, I have this idea, I want to accomplish this. Nothing ever happens. Then there's the dreamers that say, I could see something. I'm not sure what that road is. I'm not sure where it's even going to lead me, but I'm going in that direction. And probably most things are against us than not. That was my parents. That was my father. That was my mother. When I grew up here in Chicago, it was no big deal. They were members of Hapal Mizrahi, Chabad, Aguda. My father helped set up the English department at Telz. Anything Am Yisrael Chai, that's a good thing. And I think that what they accomplished wasn't just what they accomplished, is they did that for literally generations. Just start with our immediate family. Moish, Danny, Mendel, each in their own right accomplished gigantic things that started as just a small idea and became a bigger idea. That was my brother building the Chabad houses. That's Moish with Shazak, CRC, writing Svarim. That's Mendel also teaching literally generations of children of what that is. You know, when we grew up, people would come up to us all the time and say, your dad taught us in Boone School 20 years ago. And that came back. And not only my brothers, but their wives, Eishes Chayil. What they've done, I don't live in Chicago, what they've done for my father, Esther Rachel, Leah, and Chana, and Chani have been absolutely amazing. I just want to say, I think the thing that was really interesting about my father specifically was, you know, when we grew up, no television or anything, probably for you, no television or anything, but still, you know, in our house on Farwell, we had Encyclopedia World Book. We had the thickest dictionary, Random House Dictionary, and you had the Will Durant History of the World that was about 15 volumes. My father didn't really sleep normally at night, and he'd get up there and literally read the dictionary, or read the encyclopedia, or read that. And I think when he walked into a room, as Rabbi Epstein said before, the reason he lit up the room, besides his extremely dry sense of humor, the reason he lit up the room was he was a walking encyclopedia of knowledge and human behavior and studying their experience. And from that, people always got something. People were attracted like fireflies to him. And it never was the same after my mom died, our mom died. He was lost. My brothers were amazing. I really have appreciated. But what I gave myself when I got the call last night, the solace was they're reunited. They're reunited, and they've left generations and generations of things that will be done because of the work they started.
Rabbi Meir Shimon Moscowitz, Director of Chabad of Illinois, Shliach and Rabbi of Chabad of Northbrook, and the eldest grandson.
Zaidi taught us to be makir toiv, to recognize the good and express gratitude. We all owe a debt of gratitude to all those who helped Zaidi, Moshe and Leah, Chania Mendel, my mother, Eli and Emmy, all the children and grandchildren, the Beis Menachem community, the entire community, and all the friends that helped out, especially the last few months. There's one individual who dedicated heart and soul to Zaidi's cure, especially since Bubby's passing almost 16 months ago. Our aunt, Leah Moscowitz. May the Eibishter bencher with Gesund, Nachas, Arichas Yamim Vishanim, Tevis. Zaidi Moscowitz was the patriarch of a family of generations, a patriarch of the community, and indeed a patriarch of the entire city. 80 years ago, Parshas Bishalach, in 1943, a young American bar mitzvah boy read his Haftarah, the longest Haftarah, in the Lubavitcher Shul, the same shul that a year before the Frierdiker Rebbe visited. The rabbi of the shul, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Hecht, shliach of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and then of the Rebbe, took notice, and he said that someone that could read the Haftarah like that belongs in yeshiva. And he encouraged him, and he sent them off to yeshiva in 770 by the Frierdiker Rebbe. One rabbi, one shliach, noticed one young bar mitzvah boy sending him to yeshiva, and thereby not impacting not only his own life, but generations. He impacted one individual who in turn has taught and inspired so many students. As the Rebbe writes in Hayom Yom, one single chassid or student who devotes his heart, mind, and soul to Torah and spreading Torah affects wonders in a large city, in all that city's affairs, in a manner that transcends the natural order, by the merit of our patriarchs, fathers of the world.
As we mentioned, Rabbi Efraim's dedication to the Frierdiker Rebbe and to the Rebbe. We'll call upon Rabbi Hertz, the Rav of the Anash community, Meir da Asra of Bnei Ruvain, the Dean of Lubavitch Girls High School, to recite from the pages the Rebbe's Kapitel, Kuf Chaf Aleph.
Shelamalis esayin eloharim yayin yava yezri. Ezri Adonai Oisei Shamayim v'Yaretz. Al Yitei Namait Reglecha Al Yonum Shemrecha. Hine La Yonum V'La Yishan Sheme Yisrael. Adonai Shemrecha Adonai Tzilcha Al Yad Yeminecha. Yoimam Hashemesh Lo Yakeka V'Yereach B'Layla. Adonai Yishmarcha Mikol Ra Yishmar Es Nafshecha. Adonai Yishmar Tzeischa V'Yecha Miyatov Ad Olam. I was asked to conclude the two words that, just to say that it's not about, Chicago lost a giant, the community lost a giant, the Chabad community lost a giant, and we owe a debt of gratitude in the community for the unbelievable work, as previously mentioned, in the Chabad community, to the unbelievable family he raised, children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. It's us, the living, to continue on this legacy of someone who brought tens of thousands of people simcha, so much joy, so much happiness, so much warmth. Wherever he was, a kind word, a word of inspiration. It's incumbent upon us to take on this message and live with this message in the month of Adar, to bring simcha to Jews, simcha to others, and this, remember, someone so dear and special who put away over 90 years of day in, day out work and the Eibishter in our community and bring this message to others.
To conclude, we ask everyone to please rise, and we call upon Rabbi Elio Rappaport from the Beis Menachem Chabad Center, and also a member of the Chevra Kadisha, who helped to this morning with the Tara and so forth, to recite the Kel Mullen.
El mali rachamim sheichem bamreimim hamtzei menucha nechayna tachas kanfei hashchina b'malus hakdeish mutahirim k'zei har haraki amazirim es nishmas Efraim Moscowitz shalach yelamai bavo b'gan eden tei menucha osai L'chein bal harachamim yastireh b'seisach nafav l'yelamim yitzreir b'tzreir achayim es nishmasai Adonai Yonachalosai v'yanoch b'sholem al mishkavei v'neimar amen.
Friends, you each be seated for a moment. This does conclude our service here in the chapel. Interment will take place immediately at the family plot at Waldheim Cemetery. For those joining us at the cemetery, procession will be forming in our parking lot just outside. Please make sure you obtain an orange funeral safety sticker as well as a magnetic flag to place on the rooftop portion of your vehicle. While in procession, please make sure your bright headlights, your hazard lights are on at all time. Please use your horn liberally while in procession, especially as we enter the intersection, as we want to avoid any large gaps and to hopefully keep cars from entering the procession. Upon return from the cemetery, the family will be sitting Shiva at the Moscowitz residence, 7061 North Kedzie, apartment 416. At this time, I ask everyone to please rise as we escort the family, the casket, the gentleman from the Chevra Kadisha from the chapel. Thank you. Please make sure you turn your booklets and your handouts in the back of the room as they're Seamus. The booklets belong to you.
Save it for weddings.
Friends, if you are going to procession, we ask you to keep the records in your car.